it's your story and your marriage is really in a storm, when it's your story and it's not a book, it's not a pre-written story that has a great ending. It's when your job is over. It's when your finances are in a wreck. It's when you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder and you are struggling to find your way. It's when you are the pastor leading the church. I'm fascinated by people who have great ideas in the audience, who never get in the bull ring and fight themselves. I'm fascinated by the anguish people carry because they don't know how to manage a storm. Now, I want you to notice what Jesus did. Verse 39. Watch his response. So number one, always expect sudden challenges, they come. Number two, learn from Jesus to stay calm during your challenges. And number three, watch how he speaks directly to the challenge. He got up, and I want you to listen to this. He's not passive. He rebuked the wind and said to the waves, quiet. Notice the first thing he wants is quiet. He stands up and he speaks. Now, I want to be real clear because sometimes people take these verses and they go outside and start talking to storms and they miss the point. This is not a call to do that. I remember a guy, and I was a teenager, and I was explaining to this guy, I had power with God, and I was strong in Jesus, and I had power, and I was dynamic, and the Holy Spirit was in me, and I was trying to explain how powerful the Holy Spirit was, and I was just trying to get this guy to realize if you just give your life to Jesus, you can be powerful like me. And I was describing this to him, and I said, the Bible said, if I speak to the mountain will move. He said, really? He said, if I tell this tree to get up from its root. I was kind of preaching, I was feeling the power. I was a 16-year-old saved, full of the Holy Spirit. And I said, this tree would root up. He said, do it. I said, no, I don't feel like that right now. I don't think I should do that. You know what I'm saying? That's against the city ordinance. I can't root up trees, man. This is not about getting you to go outside in the water and start yelling at the storm during a lightning storm with an umbrella. This is not that moment. This is a real moment for them, but a practical lesson for us. He got up. I love the fact that he rebuked the wind. He spoke to it. Have you at least spoken to the dynamics in your life? Have you at least said anything to the challenges you face? Have you said anything at all? Is there any kind of communication, or do you just cower under it? Do you just cower under the weight of the debt? Do you cower under the weight of the emotional stress? A lot of people who are depressed, one of the mistakes you make is you accept the thoughts when they come. Instead of talking back to that thought that says you're ugly, you say, well, who said that? Who ugly? Who's this talking to me? A handsome person? Who is this telling me I'm ugly? I mean, is this some beauty pageant winner? Who is this telling me that I'm ugly? What person is telling me this? I mean, I really believe there's something about speaking to the storm, saying something in response. I speak to my storms. Because I'll get these sudden, out of nowhere thoughts that will say something to me that makes me feel as if something in my life is just not perfect. And, for example, if I'm preaching and I go home, I do my best when I'm here, and then I go home and I feel like, well, you didn't do a good job. It wasn't your night. You just weren't on tonight. You can try again. You just were horrible. And so I said, I don't receive that. I don't receive that. I'll say it to and I'll be in the closet, and all my wife will hear me say, I don't receive that. She said, what did you say? What don't you receive? I'll just say it out loud because it's all over my mind. It's a storm. It's raging in my spirit. I'm feeling down, and it starts, that didn't look good. That outfit, you looked awful in that. You just look terrible. You need to get a haircut. Your lips are, oh, stop all that. My lips are fine. My hair is fine. I'm not spending my life dwelling on these things that I normally speak to it right then, right there, and say no. Now, here's some advice. Don't start this tomorrow and lose your job. I'm not saying go out here and start talking to yourself. I'm just saying I have learned that storms come, and the first thing I've learned that works for me is to do what Jesus did. I say, no, I don't receive that. No, that's not true. No, that's not true about my wife. That's not true about my family. That's not true. I just don't dwell on all of that. And it's amazing that that's the first thing Jesus did, was he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, here's what I want. Everybody say quiet. There's something about having quiet.